Well, there's always one movie every year that is figuratively and metaphorically on cocaine. That movie this year is Cuckoo, appropriately named. So let's review Cuckoo. Cuckoo stars Hunter Schafer, Dan Stevens, Jan Bluthart, and is directed by Tillman Singer. What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new 2024 review. Cuckoo is a movie that is coming out this weekend in theaters. You can watch it nationwide, and I was lucky enough to catch an early screening of it. It is definitely a movie that is definitely interesting.
Oh, it feels so good.
I need you to come to me now, my angel.
Watch out!
It is from Neon, the studio that brought you Longlegs. I love most of Neon's releases that I've seen anyway. But this is definitely one I was looking forward to. It was on my radar for sure. I just didn't know when it was coming out, and it turns out it's coming out this weekend. Let's start you off with a quick plot synopsis, though. Because if you look at the trailer for this movie, I think it's a trailer that does exactly what it needs to do. It doesn't really tell you anything. It just shows you overall the tone of the movie, how crazy the movie can get. So, to give you a plot synopsis, it's about this family. I guess you could call it a fractured family because the father, Lewis, played by Morton Sokas, he's got a new family with a wife and a daughter, and he's got a child from a previous marriage by the name of Gretchen, played by Hunter Schafer. And so you can already imagine that dynamic is going to play a part in this movie. But they moved to Germany. There's this character by the name of Hare, played by Dan Stevens, and he's this, I guess, entrepreneur, this resort owner, and this family, I guess they want to get into the resort business, so they end up moving out to Germany so they can get on their feet. So a good portion of this movie is Gretchen trying to adjust to moving here. She doesn't want to let go of her previous family. I'm going to be very careful with what I tell you in the spoilers. You're going to see when you watch this movie that there's a lot I didn't divulge to you. This is a horror thriller, and I guess where that comes into play is once she gets to Germany, she has a job as a receptionist working in the resort, and she notices this customer that comes in to the lobby, and she is puking, but also she's noticing like her sister is acting strange, and outside of that, her sister is epileptic. So that plays a factor into this. But really, I think it's just everything around Gretchen seems off. And you'll even notice in the directing, the editing choices, the way the shots are set up, everything is story specific and not just narrative wise, but also setting up a tone for the way this story should play out. In my intro, I talked about how this is like the movie on cocaine for this year. Every year there's a movie that is just pretty wild thematically, right? And it's got like shocking visuals. This movie is no exception. It has that stuff, but luckily there is a great story behind it all. And it's a unique story. It's something that I never even thought about. But what I will tell you, and what I loved about this movie, is it kept me guessing all the way through, every step of the way, and I could not take my eyes off of it. I wanted to know more about what was going on. Why was Gretchen having these reactions to these things? Why were these characters reacting the way they were to Gretchen? And there are moments in this movie where you're going to ask yourself, are they going to tell you what's going on? Or is this going to be one of those movies that's just like way too far up its own ass and it doesn't really care to tell you what's going on? It has all that stuff, but I'll just say I was very satisfied with how everything unfolded. There is a distinct vision about this. There's a reason why the movie is called Cuckoo, aside from the obvious. You know, all that comes into play. But again, there's a lot that I don't want to tell you about this movie. But it is directed beautifully by Tillman Singer. Top-notch production. You have great performances, especially by Hunter Schafer, who is the main character. Her career is really skyrocketing. She was in Euphoria and a few other things earlier. But she's just, you know, as far as like name dropping goes, she's like a big name that you do hear from time to time these days. Just a talented young actress. Now, as far as the horror in this movie goes, I would say this puts the story first, although there are some really creepy and trippy, maybe trippy's the better word, visuals throughout this movie. But it does have some shocking imagery as well, especially like in the last act. There are a couple scenes that were, I could definitely see creeping some people out. I'll say that right now. And as far as like, I guess the threat of the movie, again, being very careful with my words, I guess the villain of the movie. One thing I did love about this was I constantly wanted to know more. Why is this character looking the way they do? Why is this happening? I was constantly asking myself those questions throughout, and I loved that about this movie. I was never bored. Now, as far as any cons, and I don't know if you'd even call this a con, this movie's not going to be for everybody. I can tell you that right now. It definitely has an artistic touch to it. And, we all look at art in different ways. Some of you might think this movie's a little bit too much. It's a lot to handle, and you don't want that much coming at you, all right? But I tend to like these types of films anyway. Anything by A24, anything by Neon, IFC. Not anything, but a lot of the stuff I see that comes out of those studios, there's always something there that really grabs me. And this one definitely did that. So I'm going to give this a purchase worthy for sure. Highly recommend going out and seeing this in the theater. I think you guys will enjoy it. And also let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm looking forward to seeing the discussion on this movie. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I got some big stuff coming up. Alien Romulus, The Crow. And I'm going to be doing quite a few videos around those two properties. You definitely want to subscribe to the channel and dive in because we got a great community here. We have a lot of fun. And we have snacks, all right? I guess digital snacks. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, also be sure to come over to Killer Flicks where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, Rudy Free Fall Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on all my socials. Support me on Patreon. Become a channel member. Buy me a coffee. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and Drumdum out.